Hello and welcome to YThrive Home. My name is Amy and I'll be your instructor today as we work through a Hatha style yoga focused on both strengthening and on releasing through the back. So we'll get started here. I invite you to join me in a seated position on your mat. However, you can sit comfortably cross-legged with your spine nice and tall. We'll take a couple of deep breaths. Moving your breath in and out through your nose. And just bringing all your focus and attention to your mat. As you sit nice and tall, bring both hands to one side, turning to look over your shoulder. And then come back into center. Take both hands to the other side, over the knee, turning to look behind you, and coming back to center. Walking your fingertips out in front of you, hips down to the mat, long upper body. Then just bend your elbows, let them lower towards the ground, whether they come all the way down or not. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And then come to seated. Bringing your knees underneath you, coming into all four. Taking a couple rounds of cat-cow. So your hands are right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. As you inhale, draw the crown of your head and your tailbone to the ceiling. And as you exhale, tuck the head and the tailbone towards your mat, rounding through your spine. Inhale, fill up, lift up. Exhale, round, tucking your tailbone and the crown of your head. One more time, inhale. Exhale, coming down. And then coming back to a neutral spine. And choosing to stay here, or maybe to walking your hands forward and dropping your hips in to a knee plank. Take one arm and reach them all the way forward. Draw into your core and then reach the opposite foot back behind you, lengthening through your fingers and the heel. Bring your hand down, bring your knee down, continuing from the knees in the half plank or stacked up in tabletop. Lift the other hand all the way up and extend the back foot behind you. Drawing into your belly button, lengthening through your spine. Take one more breath. Bringing your hands down, knees down. Come back to tabletop. Tuck your toes underneath you. Press your hips up and back for downward dog. Taking 3 full breaths here in downward dog. Exhale to take you deeper. 2 more. 1 more full breath. And then walk your feet towards your hands. Hang forward here in ragdoll. Head hangs heavy. Grab the opposite elbows. Now just sway slightly side to side, grounding through your feet. Coming easy in the center. Release your hands. Bring your toes towards center, heels slightly wider. Sweep your fingertips along the ground and bend your knees. Utkatasana, chair pose. Sending your hips back as you extend your fingertips. This is an option. Cactus arm's always an option if your shoulders are really tight or causing you discomfort. And as you find your breath here in chair pose, feeling the heat through your legs as they start to warm, tuck your tailbone towards the mat. So you really feel that lengthening through your lower back. Now full core engagement. Exhales to take you deeper. Bring your hands to heart center. And then take one hand, bring the elbow over the opposite knee. So right elbow over the left knee, and then rotate through your spine, lifting your chest to meet the sternum. And take a look at both knees. If one knee has popped ahead of the other, bring them back in line, and then rotate from there. Shoulders melt back. Gaze to the ceiling. One more full breath. Exhale, forward fold. Straighten out the legs and fold forward. Exhale, release. Now bring your toes back towards center. Bend your knees. Sweep your fingertips. Second time in chair pose. Sinking through your hips. Remember all those things from the first time. Hips are tucked underneath you. Building some fire through your legs. One more breath here. Hands come to heart center. And then this time, taking the other hand across. So left elbow over the right knee, and then twist to look up behind you. Getting that nice deep twist through your spine. But again, checking that the knees are level. Lengthen your breath. Exhales give you an opportunity to twist a bit deeper. And then fold forward. Open your feet up to hip distance. Melt your chest forward. Release through your neck. Deep breath in. Exhale, soften your knees and wrap your peace fingers around your big toe. And as you plug into your feet, start to straighten the legs and move your chest towards your thigh. Bowing your elbows to the outside if you need more depth. Shake out your neck. And release. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plug into your feet, stand all the way up, nice and tall. Exhale. Leaving your fingertips extended. Engage your quads, look up, and find just a little back bend. You don't have to go real deep here. Just looking behind you, or maybe moving your fingertips slightly back, making sure that you have not caught off your breath. Easy flowing your breath, and strong planted legs. Coming all the way up, standing tall. Hands come to heart center. Leave them right here. Step your feet closer together. Plug into your right foot. And lift your left foot up behind you, hinging from your hips. Warrior three. Flex that back foot. Engage your core. And then an option to stay here, or to find airplane arms, or maybe warrior three with your fingertips extended forward. Find your balance. Set your gaze. Inhale for 2 more breaths. Standing up nice and tall. Hands come to heart center. Soften your shoulders. Shift the weight to the other leg. Your left foot drawing down to the mat. Right foot lifting up behind you. And then hinging from your hips. Lifting your foot at the same rate as you lower your chest, so you're one long line. A strong core and strong low back will help with all of these balancing postures. So if you lose your balance, just come back in. Option for warrior three arms. 2 more breaths. Soft shoulders. 1 more. And slowly stand back up. Hands come to heart center. Sweep through for 1 inhale, reach all the way up. Plug into your feet, maybe look up, lift up. Little mini back bend. And come back into standing tall. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold from the hips all the way down. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, step back to a high plank. From your toes or from your knees, elbows behind you, slowly lower all the way down to the floor. Remember, you can put your knees down if you need. Coming all the way down. And then bringing your belly right down to the floor. Point your toes behind you. Bring your hands around the back. Palms to the ground, lift your chest. And then lift your feet, locust. Take one more full breath here. And then release one ear to the mat, palms to the ceiling. Just find release. And then bring your chin forward again. Flip your palms over. Second time, start out just like you did before. Lift your chest, lift your feet, and you have the option to stay here, or maybe try floor bow, bending your knees. If you can make contact with your ankles, wrap your hands around your ankles, and then kick into your ankles to lift your chest. Kicking hard into your fingertips, flexing your feet, bringing your knees in line with your hips. 2 more breaths. 1 more. Exhale, release. Bring your palms up. Melt the other ear down and just release. Let that go. Bring your chin forward. Bring your hands forward and walk your elbows underneath your shoulders. Palms down onto the ground. Tops of the legs reached along the floor. Then lift your chest, lift your heart up and through your hands. Just finding stillness here. Growing the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Taking one more big breath. And then engaging your abdominals, coming up onto your palms and tucking back onto your knees. Coming onto all fours. Taking another set of that cat-cow. Inhale, lift up. And now exhale, really enjoy this deep cat stretch as you roll through. Inhale, lift up. One more time, tuck and release. Level your back to a neutral spine. Take your left hand, top of your hand slides along the floor and bend your elbow to the outside as you lower that shoulder, keeping your hips stacked right over your knees. Your ear can come down to the mat if that's comfortable for you. Take a big breath. Come all the way back up. Onto all fours. The other hand this time. Top of the hand slides along the floor, elbow to the outside. Other ear towards the mat, hips stay lifted. Finding that little rotation through the spine. Melting your ear and your shoulder down to the mat. Back up onto all fours. Crossing your feet behind you and then sitting back, coming into seated. Now you can choose here which variation you take for your legs. For option 1, take your right leg with your ankle right out from your knee and your left leg just crosses over the top of that knee onto the floor. And you're trying to get both sit bones evenly on your mat. So option 1, stay here. Option 2, you're just going to work your legs a little bit closer so that your kneecaps meet in the middle. Then you're going to tuck your feet nice and close towards your hip. And you may have a big space between your knees. They might melt quite close together. Doesn't matter where they land. But again, you're trying to sit nice and even on those hips, sitting up nice and tall. And then twisting in one direction, hands over the knee. And then come around the other direction. Look over your shoulder, sitting up nice and tall as you spiral around your spine. And then come back to center. Uncross your legs and then set up on the other side. So now it's your left leg that's on the bottom. And you can take it option one, heel right out from your knee. The other foot steps over the knee and you balance yourself nice and tall. You can always take that foot just to the front of the knee if that's still too much. Or you can bring your knees into the center, bring those feet around by your hips, adjusting yourself as you need to so that you can bring both of your hips level onto your mat with your sit bones rooted down. And then we'll take that twist to one side, look over your shoulder. And then sitting tall, moving around to the other side. And then coming back around to center. Unwind your feet. Come down onto your back. Feet stay flat on the ground. Shoulders melt down into the mat. Hands reach down by your hips. And with feet in line with your hips, send your hips towards the ceiling for bridge. Pressing evenly into all four corners of both feet, and then you can just walk your shoulder blades underneath you. Seeing how high you can lift your hips as you root down strong into your feet. Bring your hips down all the way to the mat. Soles of the feet come together, knees drop open. Supta Baddha Konasana. Easing into this stretch. Just melting. And then bring your knees back up. Second and last time, feet underneath your knees. Press your hips towards the ceiling. Root down into your feet. Lift your hips high. Or maybe even interlace your hands underneath your back. Take 3 breaths here. Two more. One more. See if there's anything left there for you. Exhale, release down. Soles of the feet come together. Knees drop open. Bring your knees up towards the ceiling and then tuck them towards your chest. Give them a good squeeze. And then walk your hands up the back of your right leg. One foot comes down to the ground. Your right leg extended. Walk your hands up behind the hamstring with the option of lengthening the other leg along the mat for a little more. And now bend that knee. Bring the leg on the floor up to 90 degrees and cross your ankle over the knee, reaching through and grabbing onto the other hamstring. If you don't have any knee issues and it doesn't cause any discomfort, you're welcome to grab the front of that shin, easing the entire thing towards your chest. as they are. Take your arms and reach them out at your side. And lower your top foot, your right foot, down towards the floor, keeping both shoulder blades in contact with the mat. Place that foot down onto the floor, drawing your hips away from your shoulders. You may be able to reach down with your left hand and grab your right shin, bring it just a little closer. Come back into the center by uncrossing your legs and bringing your knees back up. Give your knees a big hug. Squeeze that in. Now take your right foot down and walk your hands up the back of the left leg, holding on to the hamstring or the shin. Maybe you can get a toe grab, wherever you can reach on that side. And the option, of course, to lengthen the other leg. Easing into that hamstring stretch. And bend your knee. Bend the bottom leg up to 90. Cross your ankle over the knee and grab the hamstring. Or if it's comfortable for you, the front of your shins. Hug that in towards you, but keep your spine long along the mat. Be cautious that you're not lifting your hips up off the mat in an effort to bring that closer. And then just like before, take your hands out to the side. This time it's the left foot that moves towards the floor, with shoulder blades staying connected to the mat. Maybe your right hand reaching for the left shin to see if you can bring it up any higher. And then really actively pressing that hip away from your shoulders. Uncrossing your legs, bringing your knees up. Give yourself one more great big hug. Open up your legs long along your mat. Drop your toes to the outside. Make any little adjustments that you need to be able to lay in perfect stillness with your eyes closed down for Shavasana. And as we move into our final posture, I welcome you to stay here for as long as you would like. If you can maintain at least a few moments here, just letting all that benefit soak into your body. And your breath come back to its natural pace. We'll close our practice here in Shavasana. Thank you for joining.